I'm Tyler Kimber, and in this film we will be embarking on a journey learning about two major epidemics. First, the 19th century cholera outbreak from London, and second, the Zika virus from Brazil. Let's get started. First, we're going to discuss the effects of the London cholera outbreak in the 19th century. The London cholera outbreak was incredibly brutal, and it took the lives of many.
What is cholera? When the bacteria that causes cholera enters the body, most of the infection can be killed by stomach acid. However, some of the bacteria travels to the small intestine, which can cause loss of large amounts of salt and water. The result is dehydration, and when it is severe, can sometimes cause death.
Victorian London experienced three major cholera outbreaks, and this is due in large part to the large population influx that it received during this time period. By 1860, London had a population of over 3 million people. The first two cholera outbreaks that occurred in London happened in 1832 and 1849 and killed an estimated 15,000 people. The third and final cholera outbreak that hit London occurred in the Soho district of London and what would come to be known as the 1854 Broad Street cholera outbreak. This final cholera outbreak killed about 616 people before it was discovered that the cholera was infecting the water system of Soho. Prior to the Broad Street London cholera outbreak in 1854, people thought that cholera was an airborne illness, and this was obviously incorrect. It wasn't proved incorrect until during the outbreak in 1854, a doctor named Dr. John Snow actually investigated the outbreak, and he looked into all these cases and deaths and tried to find similarities, and what he did find was that all these people who were being infected had one thing in common. They all were, or a lot of them were getting their water from the Broad Street pump. So he traced all this back and he created this map of the deaths in London. And actually here I have the original map by John Snow. It's sort of hard to see because it's a little faded now. But you can see he recorded where all the deaths occurred. And this was instrumental in him finding out where the source of the cholera was coming from. And of course he found that it was coming from the Broad Street pump, and he removed the handle from the pump so that no one could get water from there. And after this happened, the number of cases of cholera just pretty much diminished in London. So then it was established that it was a waterborne illness, and Dr. John Snow is now credited with finding that out and finding the source of this outbreak.
Because of the mass increase of people living in London, this also led to an increase of bacteria being spread not only in the outside world of what people eat and drink. And because of the close quarters of living, one infected water pipe could spread to a large scale of people getting infected by cholera.
A more recent epidemic is the 2015-2016 Zika virus from Brazil.
Zika virus disease is caused by a virus transmitted primarily by mosquitoes. Symptoms may include fever, red eyes, joint pain, headache, and rash. Zika virus infection during pregnancy is a cause of brain abnormalities in babies, including microcephaly, which is a birth defect that causes the child's head to be abnormally small. This also greatly reduces the child's life expectancy.
There were thousands of reported cases of the Zika virus being spread throughout Brazil and in neighboring countries of the 2015 and 2016 Zika outbreak. It then later spread to the United States, and we still have cases going on today. Pregnant mothers that have been diagnosed with Zika can also be known to spread it onto their children and to give them birth defects that are not only affecting the brain, but can also give them a shorter life expectancy.
Yeah, so we just flew across sea, and we're here in Brazil, a village called Recife. And we're here to interview a man who actually had Zika. And we're gonna ask him about the effects on him and his whole community. So I'm really excited about this interview. I think it's gonna be a really good primary source for us here. So hello, sir. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for meeting with me. So to get started here, I'm really curious about what kind of symptoms you experienced when you had Zika.
When I first noticed the symptoms, I was getting cold rushes, I had joint pain, and I also had a pretty high fever.
Noah suspects that he received a mosquito bite a couple days before he noticed symptoms. Your village experienced similar symptoms as you?
To be honest, a lot of people in this community are feeling the symptoms and effects from this virus.
So did any of the people in your community pass this disease on to any of their kids?
Sadly, yes. There's been numerous amounts of children born around here with birth defects that are going to have a hard time living from now on.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time today, sir. I'm sorry to hear about this tragic event, but we really appreciate you giving us a primary source.
Well, if you have any more questions, just feel free to ask.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Both these epidemics had led to the suffering of thousands of people. So what I want you guys to take away from this film is that we as a people need to continue to combat disease and evolve our medicine. And who knows, maybe a future Jon Snow will come along and further our medical advances.